Ah! Okay. What's up, everyone? Hey, hey, the bench. Now, honestly, before I start, I just want to tell everybody, I'm not even advising, I'm not even telling you to oh please, can you please go and stop this video and like. I actually want you to go and like. I want you to subscribe. I want you to take time out of your own day to just like, because what my brother Franklin is doing here is amazing. It's honestly amazing. And I love it. I know you love it because you're here. You're here watching me anyways. But as I'm here, my name is David Aluko. For some people that might know me, I call myself Aluko. For some people that might know me even more, I do a lot of different things. College. I started up an antisocial brand. I started up Gen-Zeal, a young adult session, Christian session for Christians, non-believers. I did a lot of different things, but Gen-Zeal is the main thing I'm doing at the moment. When I came and when I kind of started talking to Franklin, he said, "Oh, I just want you to come on the bench and talk. Just talk. Just go with the flow." I was like, I can't go with the flow. Like, what do you mean by going with the flow? And I was like, all right, cool. Started thinking, started scratching my brain a few times. But what I'm actually here for, why I'm here is to talk about God's protection. Because kind of funny, because it kind of relates a lot with what happened last night, because we were doing a Gen-Zeal last night. Well, it's God's protection in the sense of things you might be doing now and things that you don't even see God's protection in. So I'll tell you a bit about myself. I'm 22 years of age. As I said, I'm going to college, started up Gen-Zeal. I'm from Cork City. I don't really like to say where I'm from because if you don't say my name, I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere, at every place at any given time. So it's a case where I think it was around 18. I moved out of home. My faith was non-existent, if I'm being so honest here. This place is a personal space. This is a space where we can be honest. And I didn't see, let me not say I never, but I didn't see God's protection at that time. I thought I'm doing what I want to do at my own will. I go out to the parties I want to go to. If I'm going to Dublin, at the time I was going to Dublin every second week for relaxation. Just, take my mind off stuff. And things happen, a lot of things happen. Like I remember I went to a motive. Oh, sorry guys. I went to a motive in Waterford, and it was crazy. At the time, some of the boys I was even chilling with, they had beef with other people. We won't talk about that in depth. But for some reason, nothing really actually happened to me. I remember one of my friends actually got stabbed. None of my friends got beaten up badly. But me, as big as I am, I'm 6'7", as big as I am, I didn't get touched, which was crazy. And I still didn't see God's protection. I just I'm just lucky. I'm just a lucky guy. Went up to Dublin another time. Altercation happened. My friend got beat up. I again didn't get beat up. I was like, God, again, wasn't close to God at this time, but I was just like, I'm a lucky guy. And they say luck doesn't run out, but what it was looking like was my luck was running out because it wasn't aligned with God. It wasn't a case where I had faith or anything. It was literally just at the right time or at the wrong time sometimes. And as I moved out and going through the motions of life as a young adult, I kind of did everything. If I'm being so honest, did everything. If it was smoke, drink, girls, anything, man, I was there. Anything, money, if I wanted to get money hustle, if they said, oh, let's hustle for money, I was there. Anything at all. I was honestly, that was my goal. I always wanted to be rich. I remember when I was 15 or something, I was in my kitchen, my family home. I said, God, if you can give me this money, yeah, I'll praise your name so loudly. God gave me that money. Did I praise his name? Not a chance. But that's just me being honest. And even where I was getting the money and stuff wasn't honest, And it was a case where things started happening, as I said, a lot of things started happening until around August last year. And I remember one of my friends was coming back from England, and I got a text message saying that, oh, there's this drop, whatever, a lot of money to be handled. I was like, cool, my friend's coming back. And again, as I said, I was very worldly, so my friend's coming back. If I grab this money now, we go out a night out and we enjoy, We go up to that place to go and grab the money that I was so hungry for to grab. And what happened was I actually got jumped. I got beaten up. I actually got a scare. I don't know if you can see it, but I don't know if you can see it. But I got a scare. I got a bad scare. Here? Yeah, sorry, there it is. But I don't know if you can see that, but I got a bad scare. Got a scare on my chest and got roughly beaten up. As big as I am, they beat me like a baby. As big as I am, they beat me. And it was crazy, like, and at that time, looking at it, like, I remember the boys when they were in the car, because there was four of us. When they were in the car, I got out of the car, they beat me, and then they took whatever I had. They even, like, for some reason, they didn't take my wallet, but they took whatever I had, everything. The money I thought I was getting, I ended up with nothing. And the guys were like, "Oh, we rushed you to the hospital, I was like, if you actually dare, home, get me home. And like I stayed like after like they rushed me home, I stayed in my room for like 2 days, deep in life, like God, like what is this? Again, as I said, I'm not even close to God at this time. I'm like, God, what is this? Like, is my luck run out? That was the questions going through my head, like, and I was just like, wow, like someone actually beats me, like me that like I've been so lucky that nobody has ever touched me, nobody has ever done anything to me, but they beat me. And I wanted to actually even do good. They still beat me. I was like, wow, okay, cool. So then, like, it's something just started like going, like it was like a kind of like a clog in my heart where it was like God was saying to do more, but I didn't even know what to do more of because I didn't have a faith at the time. But I said, all right, cool, I want to start going to church. It started off with online, just online church. For people that go to online church, it's not it. People are singing out of pitch. People are doing like, you can just hear everything. You can see a baby on the side. It's like, it's not it. Church online is really not it. Again, obviously, there's different types of church, sermons. I really like sermons. But church as it is, just online, it really wasn't it for me at all. And I was just like, I need to go there. But just, the sense of humility, I was like, as big, and that was kind of one of the, I don't know, biggest weaknesses, but also biggest strengths where because I'm so big, people can notice me. But because I'm so big, I can also do big things for God. And I was just like, God, but like, I haven't done anything good. So what, like, how can I start it? I want you to be there so you can humiliate yourself. That's the way I saw it in my eyes. So I went to church, and the saying, like, first person in or last person in, first person out. And that was what was happening for like weeks on end. And I was just like, God, like, this church thing ain't it, man. Like, I'm loving it and everything, but like, I need something now, like, especially coming from that side of the life where everything was so now. It was all on my timing where if I wanted to do this, I can do it. If I wanted to go anywhere, I could do it. But God's timing is God's timing. If you wanted to wait for 2 years, you have to wait, So I was just like, God, like, what's happening? 2 weeks now, I haven't, nothing has happened. Nothing has changed. And until I started getting like bare nightmares. Like, I don't really get dreams. I never really get nightmares. But I just started getting a lot of nightmares. A lot of like creepy nightmares that like people were out to get me type of thing. Like, and staying like, because when I moved out, it was like, so I still moved out, and I was still trying to go to church and everything, and still trying to patch things up. But again, you need to completely like crumble everything to start again, to rebuild. And kind of understanding that was very hard because I thought like, oh, you can have one leg out and one leg in. Nah, not in God's kingdom. It's fully in or fully out. You can't be on the fence. Even if you're on the fence, you're not with God. So it was a case where I was doing a lot of one leg in, one leg out, going to church on a Sunday, but then doing something else on a Monday or Tuesday, So I was just like, God, like, when I came back home, like, one Sunday, I was praying. I was just like, God, church was good, everything was good, but like, I still want to do more. And then I seen like a devotional on Amazon. I was like, oh, this seems good. I'm not a person to read the Bible at the time. I wasn't a person to read the Bible so much. I was like, a devotional once a day, that can't be bad, that's nice, and started devotional. Things started changing. Remember what I said with protection? Things started changing. And one of the key things I got from protection was you can't ask God to protect you when you're in places that things can happen, like anything can happen. So at the time I would be in anywhere and I'm asking for God's protection. Like, imagine I'm out in war, I'm asking for God's protection. That's how like a bullet can shoot me, But like, because I wasn't in those areas anymore, God's protection was live, it was like properly there. So one time now, there was a job I was doing door to door. For the people that do door to door, I salute you because that's a hard job. I started doing door to door, and I was reading my devotional, and I was like, God, like, I really just need your love. I need your guidance. I need you to just protect me. The next door I knocked was a pastor. I was like, whoa, okay. For some people that maybe might know him, Pastor Patrick, Cork Church, and amazing guy. Honestly, amazing. We had like a 10-minute chat, and it was just amazing. But what actually really happened in my heart was the love of God started moving. And I was just like, obviously I didn't see it at the time. Didn't see it at the time at all, at all. You know, when I started seeing this was maybe a year after, when like now. And just to continue with the story, I had nightmares ongoing after that time. A lot of nightmares, a lot of nightmares. Then until I said to myself, I need to move back home. I can't do this anymore. I'm getting so frustrated, so anxious with everything, looking back, always kind of nervous. I was like, hey, moving back home is another humiliation that I can't handle, you know, especially if you're living in African households. You know yourself. You do something that you want to do, and then you move back to square one. Your dad will just say, hey, I thought you'd be back. I know you'd be back. But, you know, them ones where like, I'm so grateful for my parents because they didn't use it as like a thing to kind of push me down and say, oh, you didn't go anywhere, you didn't do anything. You know, sometimes again, I'd have the like, you know, the long lectures of and talking, but it wasn't the way I thought it would be. It wasn't like a condemnation thing where like, you know, they would just be condemning me and saying, oh, why did you go? Why did you go? But they actually just use it as a tool to like teach me in life. I was like, that was amazing. Honestly, it was just amazing. And the way God was even just starting to work in my life was just amazing. And as I moved back home, as I said, humiliation, had nothing, acquired nothing, didn't gain anything. The friends that I thought I gained, lost. The money that I thought I had, gone. The girls, gone. Everything, gone. David Aluko's name, gone. Like, everything I was, like, so on top of the world for was gone. But as people say, as God, like, you know, Christians say, God's kingdom is an upside down kingdom. So it was like, I had nothing in the world, but I had so much with God. And I didn't know it at the time. So obviously, as I said, having these nightmares. And I remember one time, my hands is even shaking. Let me just say, I remember one time now, I'm at home and with my brothers and sisters, and a black car pulls up in front. And I was so anxious, like crying, like, oh my God, what's this? What's this? And you know what it was? It was just the devil like messing with my mind so much, like so much. I was just crying. I was like, oh my God, is this the time? Like, am I gone? Am I like, is this it? And like so much things. Whoa, I am shaking. But it was just crazy. You know, it was honestly crazy. I was just like having those nightmares. Some like that happened, and I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep at all. Literally restless nights until I started praying. I remember I rang my pastor that day, and I said to her, please just pray for me. Please pray for me because I don't know what this is. And you know what God did? He shone light on something I thought was dark, and it was so amazing because the protection I was looking for was like a physical protection. But before God could show me a physical protection, He had to show me like a spiritual one, something in my heart where He could guide my heart. And even at the time, there was a verse, I just had to show it to you and I'll say it to you. There was a verse I was actually praying a lot that helped me so well. It was in Psalms 91, verse 10. No evil will conquer you, no plague will come near you, not near your home. And at the time when I was reading this verse, I was thinking so physical, like, oh, like nothing's going to come near me, nothing is going to, you know, hurt me. And the day I prayed this in the morning, that's what happened. So I was like, God, so how can I pray this? And like, this is happening. But what was happening was He wanted me to like completely be broken so He can like rebuild me. So like having that kind of trust in God grew me so much that like I could do everything in His strength. I could go to work in His strength. There was days where like I didn't even want to leave the house. My mom would beg me like, David, you that you go to party, you that you go everywhere. Why are you not going anywhere? I said, Mom, I don't want to. But then like I just had to say like, God, like help me. I wouldn't call it maybe depression. I wouldn't call it like anything, you know, an illness or anything. But it was a case where I was very sad, very, very sad. And I was talking to a pastor at the time, and he said Christians are like soldiers, not fighters, but soldiers. I was like, what do you mean by soldiers? What do you mean by fighters? He was like, a fighter is like it's a boxing match. Everybody watched that KSI match. And a fighter is once they beat you black and blue like they did. It's over. But a soldier, if they shoot you like a soldier, if they shoot you in the shoulder, see what's happening there. But a soldier, if they shoot you in the shoulder, you have to get up because you still have a battle to conquer. You still have to get up. You still have to, through all the pain, through all the anger, everything, you still have to get up. And that's what it was. It's a case where that journey that I was going through was I still had to get up. I still had to wake up. I still had to ask God for forgiveness. I still had to ask God for the protection, the spiritual protection. And as things started moving, I only started reflecting a year on. So this time last year, I started reflecting about it. And I was like, God, you really protected me. And the reason I started saying that was because my friend group, or the friend group that I had beforehand, if I'm being honest, some had gone down the wrong path. Some had gone to jail. Some had continued using certain substances and not seeing how it's affecting their life. Some didn't care. But then it was a case where, because he brought me out of such a dark place, he shone light on the dark place for me. He brought me out of it and he started something new. So new that to this day I'm so grateful for. And that's what I was talking about with Gen-Zeal. I remember coming back to faith. I was like, God, I want to do so much. I'm even doing so much with trying to say I'm doing so much for God. I remember talking to Franklin and it's like, Franklin, I want to do a Bible study, but or I want to join something, but I don't know. It's like, bro, I have something that's going on. I'm like, eh? Really? I'm like, okay. But and the week before I was praying, God, I don't have any friends. I don't really have any Christian friends. They say the people that you flock around, the people you are around is what you're the product of them. So I was a product of people that were doing bad things. Now I wanted to be a product of God, But for me to be a product of God, obviously I have to have godly friends around me, Christian friends. But I had none of that, And I was just none of that my own age. I had a lot definitely older than me that would give me wisdom, but actually friends, I didn't have. So then Franklin brought me into Bible study. The first night, amazing. Honestly, amazing. But if I'm so honest, I sinned that same night. I was like, God, I thought, if I have the friends, if I have everything, everything's calm. But he's like, no, it's not like that, man. It's a journey. The same journey you had before, you have to do it again, but you have to do it with me this time. I was like, okay, cool. So I started doing it, and again, I fell. But I got back up. I fell, got back up. And again, I'm still falling, but I'm still getting back up. So as I was going back into faith, God put a vision into my head and into my heart. He said, I want you to create a space. I'm like, a space? Somebody that was doing A and B and C before, you want me to create a space for you, God? I'm not worthy. Not me. Somebody else, please. And what God likes to do sometimes, he would just tease you, say, oh, this is a teaser, and this is a teaser, and he'll come back. He will come back. And when he comes back, it comes heavy. So obviously I just said, God, not me. Don't worry, not me. And I think a month, 2 months went by, life was rosy, and everything just crashed. Literally, I started getting very anxious with either work. Everything around me I'd just be very irritated. I was like, God, what's happening? I told you, I want you to create a space. I'm like, God, it's me and you now. Come on now. It can't be me. Honestly, it can't be David Aluko, because David Aluko, that everybody knows, is that guy that's doing whatever. He's not a Christian. He's not pushing for God. So how can I do it? He's like, do it and you'll see. And I always say to people that, especially that ask me, I wouldn't say this is my testimony, but people that just ask me about oh, how's your journey? And I was like, it was literally almost like the story of Moses, where God told him to do it. And he said, God, are you sure? And then God said, do it. So he goes, okay, God, why not? Then God said, do it again. And he said, yeah, all right, I'm down. So that's what literally was over a couple of months, not even a couple of months, over maybe 7-8 months. I was just battling with God until maybe summer. I went to a convention out in UK, a Christian convention, and it was amazing. Until this day, I still don't know the person that prophesied over my life, but I've been getting prophecies the person said, you're going to create the space that God has said to you. And I was like, God said this to me already. I now really have to do it. So started putting work into it, and like, it was amazing. Honestly, it's going amazing. For people, sorry, I know this is your space, but for people that, want to connect to, Gen-Zeal is there. Frankly, we tell you the rest, but Gen-Zeal is another thing that's happening. It's amazing. It's honestly amazing. It's God's work. It's God's work, and His hand is all over it. But it was just, even at that, I was just like, God, like, what can I do that makes you so happy, And I feel like some Christians, we have that like kind of thoughts, like, God, like, what can I do? Do I have to drop everything? Do I have to, do I have to do only you? Like, and like, even conversations me and Franklin were having today was just like, do I have to go through the route of like being a pastor to like please you? Like, And like, again, for me, it's like, I don't know if you see or if you like, if you know me that well, but I'm a nervous guy. Like, I'm a nervous wreck. But I act calm, I act collected, I try to be very chill, but I am a nervous wreck. Like, even me on this camera, I haven't done eye contact for a while, but I am a nervous wreck. So it's like, doing it for God, it's like, God, like, if I don't do it perfectly, I'm not doing it at all, like, But what helped me along the journey was, someone said, God sees your heart. And I was like, God sees my heart? Of course He sees my heart. He made me, like, So of course He sees my heart. But no, they were like, God sees what you intentionally want to do. And if you can't do it to that extent, He sees you, like, He's happy with it. So I was like, oh, that's good, like, So everything I started to do from then, even from the start of my journey to even now, to today, God has just been seeing my heart. And like, I'm just so, so grateful. So grateful, because what actually changes and what actually makes a shift is that instead of, and I said it last night, instead of being a doer, because you get exhausted, we're humans, you get very exhausted when you do. You go to church on Sunday, you do Bible study, you do, meet up with your friends, you do this, you do that, everything's God, which is amazing. But then again, you get exhausted. And then you look at your tank, you look at your spirit tank, and there's nothing there. And you're like, God, but I did all of this. I was doing this, and I was doing this, and I was doing this, but no, that's not what I want. I want you to build a connection. And there's another thing that happened that kind of fortified and kind of refined my journey, where my best friend, he passed away. And even before his passing, he got cancer. And I remember we went to a Friday night in church, and they were doing testimonies about like, healing and everything. And he turns around to me and he's like, David, can God heal me? Like, he was at the time, he was a non-believer. Like, he knew God, but not like to the extent of knowing God. He's like, David, can they heal me? Like, can God heal me? I was like, bro, if you have a faith, God can heal whatever, like, And after a couple of weeks, after a couple of months, he started to see God work in his life. Peace was a key thing for him. Like, he just had peace. He was just so peaceful with everything. He just didn't really, I'm not saying he didn't care, but he was just happy, content with what he had, and it was just amazing. But for me, it was just like, so now I have a best friend. I have a best friend like that. Wants to go to church, Cool, I know sometimes he's weak because of his illness and his disease. He can't come, but he's there, And January 23rd, if I'm correct, 24th, he passed away. And I was so gone. After doing so much, after just being with God, after helping him, after just doing so much, I was just so like in distraught. I was like, God, why? You healed so much, why can't you just heal him? I was thinking like, oh God, like, it would just be easier if you healed him. At least then my journey could be better, my journey could be easier. But now God said, I want you on your own, and I just want you. I was like, all right, cool. I kept on going to church. I think I went to church more even during those times when I lost him and when I was grieving. And as I was going to church, it was like God was just saying, take it step by step, take it step by step. And then we went to like a retreat center up in West Cork, where like kind of the kids, because I do a bit of like, I'm a youth church leader. and I just try to help the kids, try to help the youth church. And we went, and if I'm being so honest, I was like in the mind frame of do. I'm gonna be there for the kids. Cause I play basketball. I was like, oh, we're gonna play basketball. We're gonna do scary nice stories. No, I was gonna do. I didn't expect God to come to me. I was expecting it only for the kids, only for the teenagers. Until we had Holy Spirit time, and this was the time where I could be on my own. I could just say, God, after I kind of prayed for them and prayed for the whole weekend, God was like, pray for yourself. Talk to me. Let's talk. So I started talking. At the time I was looking for a brother of Christ. I was looking for someone that just that can fill the shoes of Garrett, which is impossible, but just someone that could fill his spot in my life, that I could actually have a Christian friend again. And God said to me, He said, bro, I am that person. I'm your brother, I'm your father, I'm your best friend, I'm everything. That's me. And the sense of warmth that I had, I've never felt it. And it was so amazing. It was so amazing. And that's that even relates a lot with the protection, because I'm a lover. For some people I don't know, I'm a big lover. And when you love so much, when you love other people so much, again, your tank gets empty, and it's like, who's loving you? Do you know? And I was just like, yeah, I'll be very blunt. My best friend passed. My family is there, but then they're doing their own, they're having their own journey. Friends, don't really have at the time. Girlfriend, nothing. I'm lonely, do you know? And I was just like, who is actually loving me? Cool, again, let me not lie. There's definitely a few people that were there, that helped me and everything. But who's actually there for me? Who's spiritually there for me, physically there for me? Who's there? I was just couldn't think of anybody. I was just like, wow, okay. And then God popped in. He's like, here, I'm here. I'm literally next to you. I'm literally your brother. I'm literally your best friend. I'm like, okay, God, I see you. I even wanted to make a handshake with God. I even wanted to dap him up. Obviously, I couldn't really do that. But that was just nice. It was just such a warmth, such a happy moment. Such a happy moment. And even just thinking about it now, being able to just talk to God. I know it sounds so maybe easy, oh yeah, anybody can talk to God. But literally, I remember from that day on, going to work, and I work in sales, so I work in Harvey Norman, so a lot of heavy hitters. I do a lot of, at the time I was doing long shifts, maybe 40, 50 hours a week, and I selling commission, and you need to sell well, you need to have a good pitch, all these extra things. But then for me, it was just at the time, I was like, God, can you just bless me with sales? Such a weird thing to ask God for, but God, can you just bless me with sales? And I was just having those conversations, and at times I would have maybe an $8,000 sale. I'd let you go into the stock and I would start crying. It's like, God, thank you so much. Thank you so much, which was so crazy to me, because without God, I would be nothing. Cool. Some people I've had these conversations with certain people, and they're like, oh, but is it not just a hope thing? Is God not just a hope thing? I'm like, nah, God can't. God is not hope. He can give you hope, but he's not hope. He's more than that. And the way I can explain that is literally a best friend. If you think of your best friend. At the moment, my best friend is God. He will always be my best friend. But another person that I would definitely say is my very good friend and my best friend is Franklin. So if I had a question, I had things to do. Can't answer this guy. Who asked him? Who asked you? It's gas now. If I don't say, anyways. But if I asked you oh, who's your best friend? You'd be able to list all the characteristics of the person, be able to say, oh, that this is the person, this is what they do for me, this is how they help me. Do you know? But that's what God does. And that's the best thing I could ever say to someone that is either looking for a friend, that's looking for protection, that's looking for anything, just go straight to God. Because when you start to go to other people, a lot of people, especially at the time, because I said I'm a lover, I used to go to loads of different type of people, different types of friends, different type of people that in any area. And what they would be filling me with would just be of the world. It wouldn't be any spiritual things, anything that could help me. And again, sometimes you don't have to look for spiritual things. Today now, we came here, we had food. Maybe you have to translate this. But the rice and stew that this guy cooked. Oh my God. Hey!
Wait, tell him it was a good stew.
The stew. Oh, I could eat the stew on its own. I didn't eat the rice, but the stew, oh my, and like, he said something before, he said, sometimes it's just nice to just have community with food. Do you know? And like, it's just nice when you know that like God can always do all of that for you. Like, even the relationship me and him have is true God. Is honestly true God. Where we met in church, yes, but we also built our lives around each other. Like we have Bible study together. You know, if I need anything, if I'm feeling doubt in any way, Franklin, can you do this for me or can you pray for me in this area? And the same goes both ways. Do you know? So it's a case where God doesn't only just give you what you want, but everything around it. So when I was praying for protection, he was also giving me a great friend group. He was also giving me a space, Gen-Zeal, and a church where I could always be myself. I can always just say, oh yeah, this is David Aluko, this is how I am. Like even coming up here, it's a case where like I've done podcasts before. I had a podcast, but it's like being genuine with you and being able to say what's on my heart. Like you saw me shaking there for a while and like that was on my heart, you know? Where I would just always be praying for protection and God was always there for me. The way God works is just funny. It's just funny. And like, I don't know if you understand what I mean by funny, but it's just a case where he does things that you would never expect. I know you've heard this many, many times, and I know maybe you're sick of hearing it too, but I'll say it again. He's just an amazing guy. Like, honestly. Like, for me, I was having these conversations with Franklin beforehand, and even just in general. I'm so like before I was so like kind of impulsive. I had to do this. I had to do this. I had to do this. I'm so relaxed. Like what I mean by relax is like I leave everything to God. Like even Gen-Zeal, even certain things that I do in life, like college, even I'll fully leave it to God. I'm not saying leave it to God for exam. I know exam season is here, but don't leave it to God before you carry F. But I really leave it to God. Like I just pray. I just say, God, can you just do this for me? And the way he just molds my whole life and like my whole situations around each other is just amazing. Like I remember from my course even, like I'm doing social care work in college, and I remember the day of CEO there and CEO like confirmations are coming out, text messages are going out, and I got like all the other ones, you know, the high hitters like engineering, tourism and management, all those, you know, the nice ones that everybody, you know, your parents want you to do. But I was like, God, I actually want to be a social care worker. Like, you know, actually, that's what I would like to do. Like, you know, and like, I'm just gonna leave it to you. That same day, I got the course. That was a good thing. But that same day, now I get the text message. I'm like, God, are you sure? Like, is this coming from me or is this something I want to do? So I got until because I think I had like a week or something to accept it. Like, God, from now to the week, I want you to give me confirmation that like social care is what I need to do. So the first day, the first customer I even had in work was a social care worker. I was like, nah, this is only a joke, you know. Go on, guys. I know what you're doing. Yeah, this is a joke. I was like, come. Went to Friday nights. I think that same week, they were talking about social care workers. The person that was actually speaking, social care worker again. I'm like, okay. I'm a big man for taxis. I need to go buy my own car, honestly. This year, oh no, not this year. This. How many months is left? Like 2 months, isn't it? 2 months. Oh, next year. Next year. Don't worry. I'll be whipping. But I'm a big guy for taxis, so like I just make a lot of friends through taxi drivers. I let you just talk. I like to talk to them. You know, sometimes it's just I feel like they don't have much people to talk and people that are just angry and want to do their own thing. But when I'm in their car, I'll talk. So the next taxi driver, my next car I got into was a taxi driver, and for some reason, he knew me and he was like, "Oh, how are we getting on, David? Not too bad now. What are you doing? Oh, I'm going to go to college, but I'm thinking there. Do you know what? I have a few things in mind: engineering, social care." He said, "Well, my son's actually a social care worker." I know, like, let me be blunt and honest here. You know, like some taxi drivers, yeah, they love just using anything as chat. Like, you know, they love just saying, "Yeah, I used to do that too when I was young." But this guy told me the ins and outs of the whole course in the space of like 10 minutes. I was just like, "Whoa, this guy is really like he's not trying to bluff me. Like his son is really a social care worker, you know." And I was like, God, was that you? Came out of that and then like, you know, had little meeting with like my pastor, and I was like, God has been telling me this. How do you know if it's God? And then she said, pray about it. Prayed about it, and God said, yes, I've been telling you now, so do it. I'm like, all right, cool. And if I even tell you about the course, man, nothing is easy in life. Nothing. Like not even when God, like that's one of the things I've even just been like looking at. Like nothing is actually so easy in life, like nothing at all. But when God has his hand over it, it just happens. Like things just they're just easy. Like I'm in college Monday to Thursday. Even got Fridays off. Like see how God is working. See how God is working. Got Fridays off. And Monday to Thursday, and it's literally just a breeze. I enjoy going there. But work, if I'm being honest, it's just because to have a little bit of money. I'm working part time at the moment, so just to have a bit of money to carry myself over the week. But I can see the difference when I'm in college and like it's something that God has put in my heart and something that God has done for me, a blessing. It's so easy. But with work, it's a case where cool. I understand he's giving me the access, but it's a bit tough. You know, it's a bit tougher than how it is. So like even seeing those different things like basketball again, even I love basketball. I really really love basketball, but I didn't like for the past couple of weeks now. I haven't had peace in it at all, and I'm coming to the terms of if I don't have peace in it, or if God is not in it, why am I even in it? Do you know? And even I know sometimes it is hard. It is very hard for you to drop something that is of God or that is, that you're gifted with. But when you do drop those things, man, when God moves, He moves heavy. He moves heavy. Like I could sit here and literally just talk about all the things that like God has just like when I started to drop them. Like well, I told you a story, like yeah, I didn't have any friends. But then when I said, God, like you control my life, you take my life, the friends that He's given me, I'm not gonna say 10 times better than them, but just in the manner on the way that they are my friends, it's just amazing. It's just way better. It's more relaxed. It's actually a friendship. It's actually like intimate. Even like let me be honest, even girlfriends, bro, like do you know like I was always that guy that like girls will have their names in their mouths. I was that guy. Let me not lie. And you'd be thinking at that time, like at the time, I'd be thinking, oh, what's the next girl? Type of thing. Like I'm being honest and personal with you. So I'd be thinking, oh, what's the next girl? Who's the next girl? Who's the next girl? Yeah. But what it was literally just no fulfillment. You can never be fulfilled by like either same sex, different sex. Like it's impossible. God doesn't manufacture us that way. Like so, I kind of took a break with this woman, with people a lot, and I just said, God, like the next person that I want to even talk to, please God, just direct it, like direct it to me. And I remember I went out with one of the boys. He was going through a lot. He was going through a lot of like girl problems. I wasn't even there for anything. I was literally just there to support him. Like honestly, just there to support him. Like help him. Just if he wants like anything, I was just there to just help him. Like just be a good friend. Went out. This girl starts looking at me anyhow. I'm just giving me a side eye. I'm like, bro, who are you? Like like. And before you know it, that is the same person as the person I'm dating now. Best friend. Like best friend. Like even the relationship, the way it is now is amazing. Like it's more of a best friend relationship than a boyfriend girlfriend. Where before I maybe wanted to, oh let's go on holiday or let's go to the best hotel or the best food place. Bro, I could sit in Starbucks or I could sit in McDonald's now. You're not catching me McDonald's, not gonna lie. But you could anywhere and like we just be chatting, talking, talk about life, talk about what we want in the future, talk about God, talk about everything. Do you know? And like that exactly again what God is, where He gives you the time to speak. You also have to give Him the time to speak to you. Do you know? And like seeing my life change and change for the better, I'm just excited for the future. I'm just excited for the future. Like there was something that me and Frankie were saying, especially beforehand, was how God blesses us and how like we were talking, I think months ago,
just about like creating a space in Cork. How like we were talking about Open Circle, like rep Open Circle too. The guys are doing amazing stuff up there. But we were talking about like, oh, how God is doing so many different things in different counties. Like, what can God do in Cork? And we didn't like me personally, I didn't think he was gonna do anything with me. I was thinking, I felt you do that, man. I have your back, bro. Don't worry. And we're living in it now, you know. And it was just crazy to see that in the space of even just a couple of months. For me, in a couple of like just a year, the huge change that he has done for me, and there's so much to come. Cool, there's sometimes there is doubt, and sometimes there is like, God, like how am I going to do this, or who am I going to speak to next? But God has it covered. It is so amazing. Like the same God that's put you in the position now is the same God that's either going to take you out of the position or grow you into a new position. It is so crazy. And I feel sometimes like, especially this age group, we kind of like we're surrounded with like impulsiveness. We're surrounded with people that want to make it, like they want to make it in life now. But the way God works is it's time. Sometimes you might have to go around the mountain. Sometimes you can just be on top of the mountain. But it's His timing. It's His ways, and His ways is the best ways. So like it's just knowing that, and sometimes just sitting down and just thinking about it too. Like I've sat down in my room and just thought about how God is just moving, how certain conversations I would have. It's just like I would never have that conversation, if I wasn't a Christian. I wouldn't have that conversation even if I just wasn't who I was now. Like there's some people I would never have talked to beforehand because of how I was. But now I would like to talk to everybody because again, not everybody. I pick sometimes you have to pick and choose. You can't just be torn apart. But there's sometimes now where I feel like God wants me to say something. Obviously, I'm not gonna make it so spiritual and let me pray for you. But just speak. There was a time in college there even. It was actually this month, last month, and God was like beating my heart. He was like, David, I want you to, I want you to say something. There's a conversation here. But there was two of them. Two of them were sitting down, and I knew one very well. I didn't know one at all. And I was just like, I think God is like in my head. I was like, oh, God obviously wants me to talk to a person I know well. But what God wanted me to do was allow the person that I knew well to get out of the conversation, so I could speak to the person that I didn't know at all. So, guy, the guy that I knew, he got up, he left, and the person that I sat down, that was just sitting there, obviously because we didn't really know each other, couldn't really say anything. But he just goes, "Oh, you're David, David Luke, aren't you?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You do Christian events, like Christian sessions." I was like, "Yeah, young adults, come man, come." He's like, "Yeah, I was actually thinking of it, I'm a Muslim. Like I'm Muslim by birth, like my family's Muslim, but like I've been thinking about God, like I always see your story and I really want to go." I'm like, wow. I didn't think that was a conversation that God wanted me to say. Do you know? And like the way God just moves, it's just like His timing, His place. It's all Him. You're just a tool. You're just a vessel. But you have to want to be a tool. You can't just say, "Oh, God used me," and then like you're doing something else. You have to be that tool. So like it's just amazing. Honestly, it's just amazing. Even just here, even just staying in this space. Like I remember, I was like, when I stopped my podcast, I was like, "Oh, man, I never want to talk on a mic again." Like on a mic, Sorry again. Sorry about this podcast. I love the podcast, but I just said to myself that I never want to be on a podcast again. I never want to be on a podcast space. Like it's toxic. People just say things. But then Frankie hit me up and Frankie said, "Yo, bro, like I've been thinking that I want to bring you on. But you know what I want you to do?" Is the first question said, "Who is David Aluko?" I'm like, "Oh, I've done podcasts, but I've never told that question before. This is not a podcast, this is a space. This is a space." And like it's amazing because when you have the space and when God gives you the space and you continue to just allow that space to be used by God, the things that He does with it is just amazing. It's just amazing. It's honestly just amazing. But nah, that's me, guys. That's literally me. Like, I'm grateful to be here. This is the bench. Although I'm not on the bench, but like, it's amazing. It's honestly amazing because seeing even how this platform is growing and the things that like are coming out of it, it's all God's work. It's all God's work. But as I said from the start, and I'll say it again, I want you to like. I want you to comment. I also want you to subscribe. I know he has an Instagram too. I want you to follow. Because if you don't... oh... I said I'm a Christian. I won't even not say what's on my heart. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. Let me not say it. But now, honestly, like, comment, and subscribe because this is amazing. This is amazing. And thank you for listening too. Thank you for staying till the end because I feel like I definitely spoke to somebody. So thank you guys. Hopefully I see you again.
Yeah, finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, finish.
Sunny as heck.